often and loudly decries any effort to hold him accountable to be a, quote, political hit job, including the classified documents case against him in Florida. But special counsel Jack Smith's team is now smacking down those accusations. Trump's lawyers have requested prosecutors turn over certain documents in the case that they say will serve as evidence of bias. But in a new court filing, Jack Smith's team is urging the court to deny Trump's requests, saying he sought to, quote, cast a cloud of suspicion over responsible actions by government officials diligently doing their job. Mark Elias is back with us. What's happening here? What's the strategy?
Look, the government has, in my view, an open and shut case in Florida. Remember back when the raid took place and we got the first evidence of what was there, all the way through the indictment, some of the post-indictment evidence that's come public. That's as close to a slam dunk case because Donald Trump had no right to have these highly classified documents. He had no right at all. And unfortunately, Donald Trump, as he is trying to do in all of these cases, has had a two-part strategy. Number one is to spread misinformation about this. And the second is to delay. And so I think Special Counsel Smith had enough. They filed a motion or an opposition to a request for more discovery. And I think they laid out effectively what Trump is doing here. Now, whether the judge in that case will, put this case on a shorter leash and move it forward, we shall see.
And it really goes to the heart of what we were just talking about. This is all part of this mechanism in play coming out of Trump World, RNC, et cetera, that puts pressure back on the system itself, right? So, like you said, you look at the fact the law says you can't have these documents. But Donald Trump goes out and goes, yes, I can. And so now you get into that tug of war. So this case, when you look at this case, he's even now appealing the E. Jean Carroll decision, which, the reality there, you're going to put up the bond for that, Donald Trump? You're going to put that...
Start turning into liquidity issues.
Right, start getting into liquidity. But that part of it is not the consideration. It is the act of trying to, slow things down and stall. This case, though, the Smith case, how is this one different, though? What impact could it potentially have relative to all the others?
Especially in light of you walked in right after we had done that segment on polling, and there was the one big asterisk there, which is if Donald Trump is convicted of a crime by November, all of a sudden those numbers slip.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I think that's right. And I think, people forget how damaging the evidence is in that Florida case because, it's not about the elections and the insurrection, or even the conspiracy, the racketeering conspiracy in Georgia. It's literally about a former president of the United States stealing highly classified, sensitive documents from the United States government, treating them cavalierly, showing them to people, storing them willy-nilly. It is devastating to him politically. It's devastating legally. It puts him in real prospect of going to prison for a long time. And so it's a very, very important case that it not get ignored or sort of, there's so many criminal cases that I think, people forget about.
Well, speaking of, we are waiting for this immunity decision. And that truly does, I feel like we thought we were going to get it last week. We're waiting. It feels as though that could be extremely consequential.
Look, that is probably right now the most consequential pending decision on all of the Trump cases, with the exception of the 14th Amendment case before the U.S. Supreme Court. The D.C. Circuit has before it the simple question of whether or not presidents are absolutely immune from criminal prosecution. Okay, as it was pointed out during the oral argument by one of the judges, does this mean that Joe Biden could have Donald Trump assassinated by the U.S. military right now and not face criminal penalties? This is a very easy case. I understand that courts take some time to write thoughtful opinions. We are beyond the thoughtful opinion portion of this program.
Just put it on paper.
Just write the opinion.
Mark Elias, as always, thank you for making very complicated things very simple.